Hello, this is Craig Pretzinger. We are here on episode 2 of Agency Cast, redefined as and rebranded as Insurance Agency Cast, a podcast for insurance agency owners, where we will have conversations and guests focused on helping you gain leverage in your agency. What is leverage? It's a business term defined as the power to get you more time and greater business success through business ownership. If done correctly, agency ownership absolutely will create the opportunity for you to gain more time and financial freedom. Without the right people, systems, and processes, agency ownership could and likely will become a highly stressful and possibly low-paying job. The spirit of this podcast is to get you thinking of different ways to move towards optimization in your business and in your life. Today's episode, we're joined by David Leary, co-host of the Cloud Accounting Podcast. David is an innovative and influential force in the small business accounting world with over 22 years of QuickBooks experience. He's provided many small businesses, accountants, and developers with technical tools, deep industry knowledge, strategy, and solutions. Couple key takeaways. He's been named one of the 40 under 40 honorees by the CPA Practice Advisor, named by Accounting Today as one to watch in their top 100 most influential people 2015. Finally, a 21-year career at Intuit and the president and co-founder of Sombrero Apps Company. David Leary, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Craig. Hello, everybody. Our millions of viewers that are joining. Look at the numbers going up. I see it clicking up. So people are jumping into the live feed right now. So I guess a little background on me. So I've done everything QuickBooks and small business related. So I think probably if I had to bet any money, if you're a small business owner and you're in America, you probably use QuickBooks. It's a pretty safe bet. Like I'm going to be 80 to 90% correct that you're probably using QuickBooks. And so my whole career has been nothing but QuickBooks, and things have really changed, right? I think, as people would try to do their bookkeeping themselves, or you just take a box and hand it all over to your accountant, right? But things are starting to really tip. And about, a good example of this, of where we're at today with bookkeeping and accounting, is I went and did a talk to backhoe drivers, or backhoe owners, guys who have backhoes to dig swimming pools, right? Okay. Yeah. And so in about 1910, the backhoe was invented, and everybody stopped digging pools or holes with shovels. So we're kind of in that type of a phase with accounting and bookkeeping, right? So something like QuickBooks Online, it's up in the cloud, right? It's all your stuff, your data's in the cloud. It downloads your transactions from your bank automatically. Right? You can use products like auto entry. So if you have any bills coming in, you can take those bills, email them over to auto entry, or scan them, or take a picture with your phone. Those bills or your receipts can get automatically scanned in, and then that gets shoved into your accounting system into something like QuickBooks Online. So essentially, we're going back to that backhoe illustration, right? Nobody digs a hole with a shovel anymore. Bookkeepers, so if you're doing this on your own, or if you have a bookkeeper, if you're still typing your numbers, your receipts, your bills into QuickBooks, you don't have to anymore. It'll just get there automatically. So it's just like you would not pay somebody to dig a hole with a shovel. You're not going to pay somebody to type data. That's where you're at. This stuff.
So time savings, is that what you're talking about?
Ultimately, yeah, time savings. I mean, it's that balance of, do you spend an hour working on your business or working in your business, right? And you don't have to spend an hour typing stuff in anymore. It's a complete waste of everybody's time. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's awesome. The concept of leverage, right? We talk about it all the time. I talked about it at the beginning of the last show. But you had some interesting stories about attorneys, because they're sort of in same type of thing. Agents here, realtors, loan officers end up trading time for money. What was that stat you had about attorneys?
So I went
on attorneys.
Yeah, I went to a conference for lawyers, and this is an app called Clio, which is an app for lawyers to run their law firm practices. And they had a stat about law firms. The average lawyer, like independent law firm, they only successfully collect on 1.6 billable hours a day. So if you take a lawyer's day, lawyers got 8 hours in a day, right? By the time they answer the phone calls themselves, they do their own bookkeeping, they do research on a case. By the time they're all said and done, they meet with clients, they schedule meetings. By the time they do all of this, at the end of the day, they invoice for 1.8 billable hours, but they only actually collect money on 1.6. So the lawyer is wasting almost 7 of their 8 hours a day is just wasted on all this other stuff they shouldn't be doing, right?
David, that is 100% spot on. This is a great point to stop, take a quick break, and we will be back shortly with David Leary from Cloud Accounting Podcast. Agency Cast Podcast is sponsored by Agency Vault, an industry leader in agency coaching, hiring, and sales training. Agency Vault's unique connection between the hiring process and the sales training process has helped thousands of insurance sales producers and agents gain confidence and strengthen their abilities to sell more policies with their powerful 7-step trusted advisor sales framework, only available at Agency Vault. For more information, navigate to agencyvault.com. We are back, and we're going to dive right back into our conversation with David Leary from Cloud Accounting Podcast.
You talked a little bit about auto entry, which is that's an app.
Yeah. So auto entry is an app. So this is a company I'm with right now, and so auto entry will take. You can get it on your phone actually if you want as well, and so you can. If I go to Starbucks, right, and I buy a coffee, I can snap a photo of that receipt. If I need to put a client's name on it, like, hey, bought client for this ex-client, right? So I can track it properly as a business expense. And I just take a photo of my phone, put the phone in my pocket. That receipt makes it all the way into QuickBooks automatically, and this matches the bank feed transaction. So if you have your bank feeds hooked up to your credit cards, your receipts will come through auto entry, be categorized correctly, and they'll connect to each other and be matched inside of QuickBooks Online. Okay. So auto entry you can do your receipts, but you can also do your bills as well. So if you get every month, you got 10 bills coming in, you scan all those, type those into QuickBooks, have them shove all the way into, have them get put in there automatically as well.
And it's instant?
It's instant as it can get, right? There's about so that's the thing. Like, you take the photo of the receipt, put the phone in your pocket, once a week you open up QuickBooks and the stuff's there.
Okay.
Right. You don't need to be typing in it yourself. You don't, especially now the rules have changed. You have to start keeping all these receipts. Like, you just can't throw them away, because if you ever get audited, you need to have a copy of the receipt. So if you can have the digital receipt shoved into QuickBooks automatically, that's the best route to go.
Gotcha. Any other technologies that I know that part of what you do is with apps, right? Finding apps.
Yeah. I think there's calendar apps that save a lot of time. So probably a lot of you go back and forth with clients. Like, hey, can we meet at this time? Can you meet at this time? And there's 6 emails involved in that, right? It's easier just to there's an app like Calendly or Acuity Scheduling, right? And you can just set up a calendar, send somebody the link, and then they can just go there and book your calendar when it's open. And then I say about that is you can actually control your calendar, because you can say, I'm only going to talk to clients on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or something like that. And then on Monday and Tuesday, you're going to have that block, so nobody can ever get on your calendar at those times, right? But it eliminates that 15 minutes of emails back and forth or phone calls trying to book appointments, right? So there's apps like that are really easy to do. I think there's apps, for example, a lot of you probably have an email address for your firm, right? Or you have individuals with email addresses, or you as the firm owner, everybody emails you when they don't have to. They need to be emailing somebody else on your team, right? And so there's software packages out there. There's a product called Outpost that you can, so you'd set up instead info at, are you Agency Vault? Like, what is, or is that the?
That's the other company. So.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So your insurance company, right?
Like everybody on here is an Allstate agent or in some way affiliated with an Allstate agency.
Okay. So you'd be like info at Craig at Allstate or something like that. So you'd have every customer, everybody in the company just gives out that email address, right? And then you can create rules, you can route that, you can create templates, so that way other people on your team can respond to these emails. So you as the business owner aren't stuck in that drudgery of like because my name's on the door, everybody wants me to email them back or communicate with me or call my cell or whatever it might be. You can so there's tools like that to help save you time in your communications, right?
This can integrate with Outlook web access. Allstate's emails.
I think that one may just connect to Gmail right now, but there are similar products like that to connect to Outlook. Yes. Okay. I just don't know any off the top of my head right now. Yeah.
Right, but the name of the game is getting towards automation, right? Moving towards automation and trying to eliminate some of the reactivity, because everybody that's on here, all the viewers and everybody in this group, it is that scenario that you just said. If I open my inbox, I have not checked my Allstate email yet today, right? When I open that up, it's going to have 150 to 200 emails in it. And
it's actually impressive that you didn't even open it yet today. I mean, most people, you open it as soon as you get to the office and then you're stuck. You never get out of it all day. So the fact that you did other stuff for 7 hours before you checked email is pretty impressive.
You've got to, right? I've created blocks on my calendar where I know, like, typically I do go in first thing in the morning, just glance. I don't go through them. I just glance through all the emails. If there's anything that's high urgent, then I'll take care of that. Otherwise, like, okay, this stuff I can look at later, right at noon, at lunch, when I'm eating or whatever. Because you're right. What happens is you get in that email box and you just start reactive. Oh, get this EOI out to so-and-so, or start directing the emails to whoever in the group. So huge waste, right?
Yeah. I use an app called Cloze, Cloze, and it's almost like more of a personal CRM, but it's really good for like deferring things. Like, hey, I'll deal with this later. I'll deal with this next week. I'll deal with this on the weekend. And you could just really, it's Cloze, Cloze.
Close.
So it's Cloze with a Z. And so it also does a little bit of email automation as well. So you could actually have templated replies in your email. So it's personal. It's not really designed for teams in the same way, but it can just help you, be more productive on a personal level.
Is that right?
And also prioritize your contacts, and you can actually drop people into the kind of mini funnels. It's not a full-blown marketing automation tool, but at $60 or $80 a year, it does a ton.
Like a little,
and then also even like your social media management can be done through there as well. Yeah.
Little automated personal assistant.
Yeah. And I'm a huge fan of it. I use that. I'm probably in that more than anything because it's the email.
Right.
It becomes the way. That's why I do all my email out of that app itself. And I can manage multiple emails if you have different companies. You can do it all in one spot.
Yeah. Well, so in talking with, I've been on the phone or on a Zoom meeting with hundreds, if not thousands, of agents, and one of the things that comes up is bookkeeping, right? Like how do we do this? I myself have a bookkeeper because it's too much with the different businesses. What are the different billing models? Like how should somebody go out and find and use a bookkeeper? Or should they be doing it themselves?
Doing it yourself seems on the surface, that's the cheapest, right? You're going to spend the least amount of money, but it's really the most expensive because that's minutes you're not spending growing your insurance firm, right? Like you're not out there selling insurance. You're working on your bookkeeping. So doing it yourself is probably the worst thing you could do. Now, hiring somebody in-house, an in-house bookkeeper, maybe it's somebody in your office that's doing other work. That might be okay, but even then, there's probably way more profitable things that person could be doing for you instead of doing your bookkeeping, right? So then you could outsource your bookkeeping maybe to a generalist, maybe somebody who just takes on, hey, they have an insurance agent, but then they're a bookkeeper and they also have a bicycle shop and a restaurant, and you could do that, and you're going to pay for that. But to really pay is you want to find somebody that only does insurance agents, right? Because they're going to know how to run your business in the best way possible, not just do your bookkeeping. But then you're going to pay for that value, right? Because that person may have an experience of like, hey, I only take on insurance agents, right? Or maybe they're even more niche. They only take on Allstate insurance agents, right? And so they're super efficient about your bookkeeping, but because they're experts in how to run an insurance agency, they're going to help you grow your business. Now you're going to pay that bookkeeper a lot more than you're going to pay, somebody who's taking anybody that's close by, any business. So you want those niche specialists are going to be the ones that are the most expensive.
Value. I think everybody on here understands value because Allstate being one of the more expensive insurance, right? In a world that paints it as a commodity, we're able to position ourselves and provide that value, right? Because we're the agent, we're the expert, we're trusted advisor.
And you're seeing that with accountants, right? Accountants and bookkeepers are going through that change because you can't, as like we talked about in the beginning, right? If data is just getting in the accounting system automatically, you can't bill somebody by the hour because if what I used to do by hand took 6 hours, now it takes 10 minutes. I can't bill you 6 hours still. Right. So, but I'm also not going to make any money if I bill you for 10 minutes. So this is where accountants are having to figure out how to do advising work, accountants and bookkeepers, advising work, value-added work. They have to figure out how to provide more value. And one of those ways is going niche, right? Because if they go niche and they only do something like insurance agents, now they can actually provide that value.
Awesome. So what else? What other things could agents be using to help gain leverage?
Yeah. What other apps to gain leverage? We talked about, obviously limiting data entry, calendar type stuff, email tools. I'm not, because it's a monster on its own, but I think there's a lot of marketing automation tools. There's tons of those. There's a lot of social media type tools. I use a product called Social Pilot that I like. That seems to, people may have heard of Hootsuite and some other ones. So there's a product called Social Pilot, and I've been using that to kind of automate some social media posts and, have control of that. I'm a big fan of Canva. If you guys have to do any artwork type designs, it's a good thing. You could even probably work with a designer. The designer could give you a base set of logos, a base set of fonts to use, a base set color scheme. And once you have all that in Canva, it's very easy for you to spin up a piece of artwork for a social media thing or a flyer or a banner. So you don't have to keep hiring a designer every single time because you need to maybe you're having a mixer and all you really need is the date and time and the mixer change, right? And an app like Canva can allow you to do that. But it kind of ties it back to kind of these assets. And so you could pay somebody once to get you a base design and the assets you need to create your own designs going forward. That's a good time saver, I think, is something like Canva. I'm going through my browser tabs here to try to see, I use, okay.
I was just going to say, I built something out in Canva yesterday for loan officers, right? So let me see. Keep going, and I'll pull that up.
Oh, yeah. While you're pulling up Canva, another thing I use an app called AnyDo for just simple. Every time there's something I have to do, I just put in that AnyDo list, and then I can get it to the right places later on. But I use an app called AnyDo. I've used an app called Favreau, which is for bigger task and workflow management a little bit. So I can track almost like think about a sales funnel, right? Where they're a lead or they're prospect or a lead. You're working the lead, you've closed the lead. Well, if you think about that's the way your work is, right? Like you have a backlog of ideas you want to do at your business, and then you take those ideas, you kind of move them to working on it or planning, and then you kind of move those ideas to done eventually. And so I use tools like Favreau's one. I think Trello's another one for kind of those workflows. I think those are really good. The other thing that if you guys if you're a little bit technical as an agent, right? There's something called Zapier. And what Zapier lets you do is it lets you kind of create really custom connections between apps. So for example, if you have a contact us form on your website, let's say, so every time somebody fills out that contact us form, yes, and maybe it sends you an email, or maybe that contact us form fills out a Google sheet, right? A Google spreadsheet. So you could actually have this tool Zapier say, hey, every time a new person gets on this Google spreadsheet, you need to go and send this email, or you need to add them to my CRM, or you need to stick a calendar appointment on my calendar so I give them a phone call, right? And so you can really start automating some of these other workflows through a tool like Zapier. And that gets to be, it's like a box of Legos, right? You're only limited by your imagination on that type of stuff.
Different systems.
Yeah, you can. If an app can talk to Zapier, and another app can talk to Zapier, that means those two apps. Oops, I just hit the mic stand. Sorry about that, everyone. The two apps can now talk to each other because Zapier is in the middle, and so Zapier, I think, has 800 apps that all connect and talk to each other now. And then it's all custom workflows. You have a lot of control on how your business runs and how you want those workflows to connect.
Well, I don't. Anything else that you can think of? This is great stuff. I appreciate you bringing all these ideas and automations. I know that I use Zapier for a lot of different things, connecting Wufoo forms to all kinds of different places, to our CRM, just different stuff with Calendly. So yeah, super.
I think the other one is there's an app called Process Street, and it's really a way for you to document your processes for other employees. So it's like, think of a checklist and templates. But what's really cool about it is once they're documented, it ties to Zapier as well. So you can document all your processes. And then once you document click by click what to do, now you can automate those processes. And it's really interesting. I did a webinar with somebody from that company last week. And one of the things he was talking about is the best use of your time. So as soon as you automate something and you get a little bit more time, use that time to automate something else. Document and automate something else, and then use that time to document and automate something else to the point where you can just go on a beach and your business is kind of running on its own. Now, can you automate everything? No, but you can get pretty close to where, hey, you don't have to be in the office 8 hours a day, right? You can get down to that point where you can start enjoying life a little bit.
Creating leverage.
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of times, and you said it at the beginning, we're either working in or we're working on. I mean, there's times where I have to work in my business, and that's the way that it goes, right? But I prefer, and I think everybody on here prefers to work on their business and on the beach while they're working on their business.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if it might be easiest if people want to get a hold of me, they could just go to davidleary.com. But also, I don't know, can you put in my email address for people somehow?
I can, right? Here, put it, give it to me.
Okay. Yeah, it's david.leary@autoentry.com.
At autoentry.com. David right now, this second, is in the group. He is going to get the boot afterwards because he's not an Allstate agent. But in order to get him on this.
Actually, that might be better than emailing me, is leave me in the group for a day or two. Yeah. I can post some information about auto entry. And then if people have questions about it, maybe I just answer those in the group instead of me getting 70 separate emails.
Maybe.
And then you can just keep the post there. Then you can kick me out after, right? And the post will just be there.
We'll give you 2 days and then you're booted. The village.
2 days. Wow.
Or by Sunday, whatever. We'll work that out.
Yeah, but I can put something in there, and then if people are interested, have a question, or want to try out auto entry, I'll get all the links in there so they can try it out and but it's cheap. I mean, you're $12 a month, right? And so you might be paying your time, right? If you're typing your receipts into QuickBooks for $12 a month, you can stop doing that. And if you have a lot of transactions, $17 a month.
Yeah. Right? So we're going to take the audio. I'm going to take the audio of this, rip it out of here. It's going to be put into podcast format and then dumped on the Agency Vault site. I'll add all of your contact information down below that. Okay. And again, that's on agencyvault.com. But there will be a resources tab or podcast and resources that has the different episodes of the podcast where you can access all of those different affiliate links. So anything else?
I don't think so. I think you start with one thing, right? If you've done nothing, right, just start with your email. Like get an app to help you defer and ignore certain emails or prioritize them, or get an app that lets you distribute the emails to your team or do templates. If you just start at least with your email, it's just a start. I mean, that's a nightmare that most people have that eats up a lot of time, and start with that. Or attack your bookkeeping, right? Just figure out something to attack. Don't do it all at once, and it'll just chip away.
It's overwhelming, right? Especially here where we're reactive. We have the email coming in, they're calling, our staff wants to talk to us. And it's as simple as pick one thing and take action and execute. As long as you do it, don't take notes and write notes on your notes and more notes and put them over here. It's just pick something and do it.
Or I think I heard something about Google, like kind of a Google mantra inside with their engineers. Like, you do something once manually. The second time you have to do something, document it. The third time, you automate it. So you never have to do it a fourth time.
I love that.
And it's
Google seems to know what they're doing.
Yeah, it seemed to work. Yes, exactly.
Well, hey, and they can check out your podcast. Don't you have a podcast?
Yeah, I have a podcast. I mean, for those of you that really love your bookkeeping, we have a podcast. It's the Cloud Accounting Podcast. So it's cloudaccountingpodcast.com, or if you search in any of your iTunes or any of your podcast players, Stitcher, et cetera, Spotify, you'll find us. Or, if you're trying to your accountant or bookkeeper, mention, hey, there's a really awesome podcast you should listen to. So it's cloudaccountingpodcast.com.
And didn't it crack the top 50 in all of
I think we're currently top 50 tech news podcasts where we've cracked the top 50. Yes.
I'm in the top 1 million right now. So
it takes a long time.
Well, thank you, David. It's awesome to have you on here. I hope that everybody in the group takes something from this. Great stuff. And I will see you tomorrow at Orange Theory.
6 a.m. Bye, everybody.
We want to thank you for joining the show this week. We appreciate your listenership. And want to thank also Agency Vault, who has helped thousands of agents with their hiring and sales training processes to increase and dramatically grow their insurance agencies. Use the powerful 7-step trusted advisor framework, and you too can see. Check it out at www.agencyvault.com. Thanks for joining.